What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Austin Show. Today we're looking at the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series Rogue One wave. So this is a wave of the 6 main characters. There are some more that we're going to be doing later on, but we're kind of waiting for some other figures. But in this wave, like I said, we had 6 of them. So first off, we have the Jyn Erso, Cassian Andor, and K2SO. Now again, with these are the re-releases, so they've had some upgrades, especially with face scans, like on Cassian here. So I think we may have some of the older ones. So if we do, we'll kind of compare them. But these are just the upgraded ones. And then the other 3 we have are of Chirrut Imwe, Baze Malbus, and Bodhi Rook. So we got 6 figures here. Like I said, I'd say the main characters of Rogue One. Of course, there are some other characters, but those are going to be the ones coming out later. But like I said, at least we have our main 6 characters from the Rogue One team all here together. And of course, they've been releasing them slowly over time. It almost seems like one a month. And we finally got all 6 of them here. So like I said, we're just going to go ahead and do these 6 now. So let me go and get these open and out of the box, and we'll take a look at them together. Well, let's start off with Jyn Erso here, played by Felicity Jones. Now, we know she's the daughter of Jyn Erso, and she led the Rogue One team in stealing the Death Star plans for the Rebel Alliance. And overall, she looks good here, and as I've sort of mentioned, we've had this figure before. I don't think I've ever looked at it. I believe we got it before we did these videos on YouTube, but overall, she looks pretty good, pretty much how she does in the show. So she has this scarf covering over her head, which we can take off, that I will show so we can see more of her face there. But there's the face of Felicity Jones. I think looks pretty good. This has the face scan technology, so it's a little bit shiny, but overall does look relatively good and like her. And she has her hair where it looks like it's sort of cut, but has a bun in the back, so I'll show that when we take the scarf off. But then she's got a gray shirt underneath with the jacket on over the top, so she has this jacket with some dark military green sort of colors. I like the stripes down the arms, so carrying on the look that we'll see with other figures, and kind of reminds of Luke, but has all sorts of pockets there in the brown. Nice silver zipper, just overall looks good. Some brown gloves, and then some black colored pants with a belt with the holster, and then brown boots on her feet there that look pretty good with the silver on it as well. So overall, a nice looking figure, but like I said, we've already had it, so here is that older version, so that you can see definitely the face scan difference. The other one actually doesn't look horrible to me. It obviously looks like a more cartoonish version, but overall I don't think it looks horrible, and you can see the body. So pretty much everything on these figures is going to be exactly the same. They just change up some of the colors, so you'll see a little bit difference there, but otherwise they are the exact same figures. But with this one, let's go ahead and just take the scarf off so we can see her face more. So I just slide it on over her head, but you could just completely pop her head off and get it that way. But there's a better look at her face. So if you want to have Jyn without the scarf, you can just have her like this, because I think she does look good. But there you can see the bun in the back of her head, and still just a little bit of strands of hair there hanging down. And overall, I think that looks pretty good there as well. But let's go and do her movements. So her head can twist all the way around, and then she can look down that far and up that far. So pretty decent movements there. The shoulders can come up to 90, a little bit over there, and rotate all the way around. We get the single elbow joint that bends to 90 with the rotation, and then the wrist can twist around and flex up and down for this hand. We have an ab crunch in the middle there, so you can see that separation. So you crunch forward, crunch back, so a little bit of crunching there, but mostly twist around. The hips can come up to 90 and out to the side that far. And there is a thigh twist in here, so it can twist around, but with that holster you have to be careful with it. Double knee joint that bends up that far to the back. A shin twist at the top of the boot, so foot twist around there, and then the foot itself can rock back and forth and twist side to side. So even with this being an older figure, I'm surprised at how good of movements it actually has, because a lot of the older figures had more limited movements. Now she still just has the single elbow joint like a lot of figures do these days, but hers seem a little more limited. I think that'll carry through with a lot of these figures, but overall not bad at all. And for accessories, all she comes with is an A180 blaster pistol, so like her little pistol we see her have in the movie. That looks pretty cool, so we can stick it into her holster, so we can just slide it down there. But let's go and just put it in her hand. So there's Jyn with the pistol, and overall I think that looks pretty cool. This is a really nice figure overall. I love the upgrade with the face and stuff, just looks so much more realistic. So if you like Rogue One, these are definitely good figures to pick up, because I really like this a lot. And next up we have Cassian Andor, who probably needed the most upgrade, especially the face scan. So he's of course played by Diego Luna, so we can see his face in there. Still not the greatest face ever. I don't think it carries off the look of him, but it's still probably the best, especially compared to the older figure when I'll show it to you. But he's the captain for the Rebel Alliance and assigned to extract Jyn Erso from the Empire after Rebels received information of the Imperial superweapon. And so he's like the leader we see throughout the entire movie of our Rogue One Rebel team, and overall he looks pretty good here. And as I said, he has the new face skin. So there's his face. Like I said, still don't think it looks exactly like Diego Luna, but it is much better just overall design. Than I'll compare the other two, but overall he's just got his black hair, looks good, and all the beard and everything. Then he's got an outfit very similar to Jyn, just more in a male version and all brown, and then it has the stripes down the arm as well. So I don't know if that's just like a rebel thing or what the deal is, but then he's got a shirt on much like Han Solo wears throughout the movies, and then he's got some like tan color pants, so all sorts like pocket design stuff, belt around his waist, and then belt with the holster there on his thigh, and then some brown boots very similar to what Jyn was wearing. So overall looks pretty good there, you know, not much different than Jyn, just differences between male and female. But here is that older version, so you can see that face difference. So there's how bad his other face looked. So it's not very good at all. And I believe if you look at the faces, they are exactly the same, like molds and everything. They just, with that face scan like printed on, looks so much better. So this was definitely a figure that needed upgraded for the face, and I think they did a better job here. Like I said though, unfortunately to me, it still doesn't look that good. But for his movements, we get his head that can twist all the way around there, and he can look down that far and up that far. So pretty decent movements, a little bit stiff though in the neck. Shoulders can come up to about that far. I can't get it higher than that. So it's close to 90, but over 45 at least, and can rotate all the way around. We get the single elbow joint that bends to 90 with the rotation, and the wrist can twist around. And this one has a back and forth joint, but hard with the sleeve. Then we get the midsection crunch here, so it can crunch back and forth just very little, but can twist all the way around. And then the hips can come up to 90 out to the side that far. Thigh twist around again, but with the holster it's hard to do. Double knee joint that bends up that far to the back. Oh, he can kick his own butt. No shin twist on this figure, unlike Jyn, and then the foot can rock back and forth, again real stiff, but can rock back and forth and can twist side to side. So not a horrible figure, he's just not as good as Jyn was and has some stiffer joints that we have to deal with, but overall not a bad figure. I like the upgraded look. And for his accessory, we get his A280 CFE convertible blaster pistol, so it's just this nice pistol design here that looks, you know, just like a normal pistol gun that of course we can stick into the holster, so we can just stick it right in there, but we can also put it into his hand, and it's convertible as the name said, so we have different attachments that can go onto it. So we have the main pistol design, and then we have a butt here that can go onto it, so it kind of turns it into a rifle, I guess. And then we also have the additional attachment to turn it into a sniper rifle that goes on there. So there we've got a big nice rifle gun now that looks pretty cool. So let's put this in his hand. So there I got the gun in his hands, and unfortunately because of the limitation of his joints, it's really hard to get the gun even in his two hands, and it's kind of bending up the butt of the gun here. So unfortunately you can't really do too much posing with this figure because of the limitation, but overall I think that looks really cool and another good figure. And next up we have K2SO, the KX series security droid created for the Galactic Empire, but K2SO was reprogrammed by Cassian Andor to serve for the Alliance, which led to the development of his self-aware personality. So K2SO was a great character and an awesome robot, so he's a big KX security droid, so he's a big tall droid, so especially at the end we'll see just how tall he is. And overall a good figure. I don't really know if this is one that really needed upgraded or anything different about it. I guess this is more just a re-release, so if you missed that first one you can get it, but overall I'm pretty sure he's going to look almost exactly the same, have all the same features. The only difference I can tell with our figure is that he's got one leg longer than the other, so he always sits at like a tilt, which is really annoying, so I have to kind of straighten him up to get him there. But since we're looking at, let's go and bring in that older one. So there you can see them. So again, it's not much difference between this new one is much more shiny, where this other one is more flat or matte color, which I'd probably actually prefer the matte version more. The new one has a little bit more orange like showing out through, like especially on the legs, a little bit more orange just showing overall through, but still has all the like silver like paint scrapes off, so like he's been in battle and usage and stuff. So there you can see just the overall difference. So yeah, overall there's not much difference between the two figures. Just if you missed out this old one, that's the only reason to really get this new one. But we can do his movement, so his head can look down that far and up that far, so pretty good movements just overall. And then he has the neck joint as well to look even further down and further up, so pretty good movements there in the neck overall. And of course his head can twist all the way around. Then we get the shoulders that can come up about that far, so about 45 degrees there, and can rotate all the way around. We have the single elbow joint here that can bend up that far, so a little bit over 90 it looks like, and it can bend backwards there as well. And it has some rotations like right above the joint, so it can rotate in there. And I like how they put the clear pieces, like the clear peg in the center, so it looks like you can see all the way through. And then there is rotation at the forearm as well, so the lower half. So above and below the joint there is rotation. Then we get the wrist that can twist all the way around and flex back and forth. There is an ab crunch in the middle here, so you can crunch forward very little, so pretty much just where he's at, but can crunch back a little, so a little crunching there, and can twist twist around as well. Then we get the hips that can come up, yeah, to 90 there, maybe a little bit over. Yeah, I can probably get it a little bit over there. And then out to the side that far, there is that little bit of a thigh twist in there. Then we get the single knee joint that bends all the way back that far, about 90, and of course can bend forward there as well. So, oh God, he's broke his leg. And like the elbow, there's rotation above and below the joint. And down to the foot, we have the ankle joint. So with this, it's just like the other joint, so it can rock back and forth there. And then it has a twist in the foot that can rock side to side as well. So overall, not bad movements for a big robot. You think robots would have less movement, but he's actually pretty decent. And like I said, he's not a big upgrade from that past one, and I actually like the colors a little bit more. I like him being less shiny with that older one, but otherwise there's not much difference. So this is one you don't need to upgrade unless you missed out or absolutely just want a newer one. So he doesn't come with any accessories or anything, so it's just K2SO all by himself, but pretty nice figure, just not a necessary one. And next up, we've got Chirrut Imwe, played by Donnie Yen, and he's a blind human that was born on Jedha that serves as a guardian of the Wills, which is a spiritual order of warrior monks. And we see in the movie he ends up joining the rebellion and assists in stealing the Death Star plans. So overall, he looks pretty cool here. He was awesome in the movie, and overall looks good. So there's the face of Donnie Yen, which I think looks good. And then we'll see the comparison again. I don't really think it's much upgraded, mostly just skin color, it seems like, is the only difference. But otherwise, he's got pretty much the exact same outfit on as before as well. So this all black like shirt design with some white details on it and the white bandolier going around on his midsection, whereas whatever this device on the front of him is, and then it has like a cape piece hanging down here in the back, even has some like armor pieces there on his forearm, and then he's just got like this like robe covering piece with this nice dark material on the front, like a dark bluish black with the red and white stripe, and then the red material underneath it with the pants legs under there, kind of like baggy pants going into these gray boots, almost look like booties or something. But overall it looks pretty decent, you know, but much like he does in the movie. But overall there's not going to be much difference, especially with that older one. Like I said, mostly, well, this one looks like he's looking up, but beyond that, it's mostly just like skin color design and a little bit of changes to it. But overall, they're going to look almost exactly the same. So this is one that probably didn't need much of an upgrade, because I don't think this face looks horrible, just like I said, except that he's like looking up, but he is blind, so who knows where he's going to be looking. But this one does just look a little bit more realistic. For his movements, his head can twist, again, real stiff, can twist all the way around. You can look down that far and up that far, so decent. Shoulders can come up to 90 there and rotate all the way around. We get the single elbow joint that bends to 90 with some rotation, and then of course the wrist can twist around and flex up and down for this hand. He's got like an ab or a waist twist somewhere. It's like right where the robe is like tucked in, so he can crunch back and forth just very little and twist around there as well. But I'm assuming if you twist it too much, he'll start to like undo his robe, so I don't know if you want to do that too much, but he does have some movements in there. But then we can go and lift the robe up and we can see his joints, so the legs can come up there to 90, out to the side that far, thigh twist all the way around, a double knee joint that bends up that far to the back. He can kick his own butt. No shin twist or anything, but the foot can flex back and forth and twist side to side. So he doesn't have the best movements, limited by the character design, but overall he looks relatively decent. Now for accessories, he comes with his wooden staff, so the staff he always walks around with, you know, since he's a blind guy, he has a staff. But it's a Uneti wood staff, so probably something to do with the Force. And it splits apart. I don't know why it splits apart, like what function it serves, but unless he just takes it off and uses this as like a little stick piece. But it does attach there, and I thought maybe, you know, to like put it on him, like store it on his back or something, it would do that. But I'm not really seeing any function for it, but it does split apart there and just has a nice wood design overall with the silver pieces on it there. So we have that staff we can put into his hand, as well as his handmade light bow. So it's this light caster bow thing that's pretty cool that he can adjust, so he can use it this way and use it like that, or like we see in the movie where you can like twist it to the side and then have the two pieces fold out like a bow. And so there he's got it like that and can hold that, which is pretty cool. I guess I wish it would function a little bit more, but pretty much just twist at this end piece here, can twist around, and then you can fold this up. But I think it'd be cool if like you like function in and out and stuff, just a little bit more to it. But it is a pretty cool weapon just overall. So let's try and put this stuff in his hand. So because of his limited movements, again, it was hard to get the gun into his hand, so I just put the staff in his hand and tried to do like the scene at the end where he's on the beach right before he dies, where he's walking with the staff. So I tried to sort of recreate that. So overall, pretty cool figure. Like I said, it'd be cool if he had better movements just to do better with like the weapon. But you can get into his hand, just not in very good poses. But overall, it's a pretty decent figure there of Chirrut Imwe. And next up, we've got Baze Malbus, played by Jang Win, and he was born on Jedha as well, and a once devoted member of the Guardian of the Wills, but turned to an assassin during the rise of the Empire, and is a close friend of Chirrut Imwe. And overall, he looks pretty good here. Another figure that when I show you the old one doesn't really need much upgraded. They just kind of, you know, changed a little bit of colors and just added a little bit more face scanning, but otherwise, overall looks pretty much the same. So he's got this all brown jumpsuit, so he's got, you know, covered from head to toe with all the armor pieces on. So he's got this big red armor piece piece around his neck, which looks pretty cool. I like the big armor sections and the pieces all throughout him, so they're around his arms. A belt on with some pockets around his waist there. He has this extra little attachment piece on his back as well. I don't know if that's supposed to be like a little taser or what the deal is there. And then he's got some armor there on his thigh going all the way down to his boots in like that brownish gray color. So overall it looks pretty cool. I like the colors overall with the brownish tan, and then that red armor that stands out looks really good just overall. And then of course we have his face there of Jyn Erso, which looks pretty decent. I like his beard design, and then he has the longer hair, but then like the braid things there in the front as well. So we can bring in that older one to see the difference. So again, with that face scanning, the new one does look much better, but overall you can see there's not much difference between the two, just the new like shininess and a little bit more like a wash and stuff added to it. But overall the figures look pretty much the same. They did change the brown, so it's more of like a tan color compared to this like dirty brown, so they did change that, but everything else is relatively the same, just very minor color changes between the two. So we can do his movements. So his head there can twist all the way around. I was surprised it did twist around because I thought his hair and the collar piece would get in the way, but he can look down that far and up that far, so very little movements though. And then next, shoulders can come up to 90 with rotation all the way around. We get the single elbow joint that's real stiff, but it can bend up that far and has rotation. Wrist can twist around and flex up and down. We have an ab crunchy in the middle. You can see the line sort of running across there, but it doesn't really crunch much at all, so pretty much nothing there, but it can twist a little side to side. Then the hips can come up about that far, so maybe 45 degrees if even that, and then out to the side about that far, so not good. Thigh twist all the way around. It's a little bit stiff but can twist there. A double knee joint that bends up that far to the back, and then the foot can flex back and forth and can twist side to side. So probably has some of the worst movements out of all the figures, unfortunately, but I still like the overall design of him. He was probably one of my favorite characters coming out of the movie, so I just like his look a lot. But for accessories, we get his main weapon pieces of the MWC 35C staccato lightning repeating cannon. So we have the gun here along with the big canister piece and tube that goes onto his back. So overall looks pretty cool. Nice red and silver design. It looks like almost like a rope design there, but it could just be the ammunition and stuff, and just all sorts of cool pieces. And then like I said, the nice like cable piece that runs and attaches into the gun. So we can just take this and pop this into the bottom section of the gun here. So it was a little bit difficult, but I got it into the gun there. So then we can just take this piece and pop it into the hole in his back, so it just slides right in there. So it looks cool with that big canister and then like the cape piece hanging down and everything, so that's cool. And then we can bring the gun around and put it into his hand. So let's try that. So there I got the gun in his hand, so that looks pretty cool. It is hard to do once again with the limited movement, so getting it into his hand is pretty difficult, and fighting with like the cable piece of the gun. But overall that looks really cool, and I love the gun because looking it up, it says that's the firepower of 5 laser rifles in one and holds up to 35,000 shots. So that sounds really cool. I feel more people need that gun, but overall that looks pretty cool there just overall for Baze Malbus. Such a good character. And then we have our last and only new character of this wave is Bodhi Rook, played by Riz Ahmed, which is really cool to get a figure of him. But he's the cargo pilot for the Galactic Empire that defected to the Alliance with the message from Jyn Erso about the Death Star. So overall, he looks pretty cool here. Again, Riz Ahmed. So there we've got his face that looks pretty good just overall. And then we have his hair design where he's got the longer hair, so into the ponytail, but then has the little side pieces hanging there as well. The beard, and then the little clear goggles on his head. So really cool. They carried off that design really good. But then we got his outfit. So he's in this all gray jumpsuit, again from head to toe, has the Imperial logo on there with some code canisters, and looks like some different buttons and stuff there on his arm, so it looks pretty good there, with the vest on over the top. So the vest with all the pockets and some silver stuff hanging out of a pocket there and attached on the front, and overall just looks pretty good. I like all the attachments and everything, and just gray pants going all the way down into the boots there. So pretty simple looking character, but overall I do like the look and the design of this, and again it's awesome to finally get this character since we haven't had one so far. But for his movements, his head can twist all the way around. He can look down that far and up that far, and again he has the additional neck joint there, so that's where most of the movement is, but he does have the joint in the top there as well that moves back and forth a little, so good movements overall in the neck. The shoulders can come up to 90, and he does have like the butterfly joint there, but doesn't do much, and can rotate all the way around. We get the single elbow joint that bends over 90 there, so that's good, and it has rotation. And then the wrist can twist around and flex up and down, it looks like. There is an ab crunch up in there, but it's behind the jacket, so you can't really see too much, but can crunch back and forth in there and twist around. It looks like at this waist section right here is actually where it's at. Then we get the hips that can come up to 90, out to the side that far, thigh twist all the way around, a single knee joint that bends that far to the back about 90 degrees, and it has the rotation, and then the foot can flex back and forth there and twist side to side. So overall this is a pretty good figure, especially with being new, so he has the newer joints and functions a little bit more. He does have some weakness in his feet, so he keeps falling forward a little bit, but overall a really good figure there. And then his accessories are pretty cool. So he comes with the cable backpack that he had used in the movie. So where he had to connect up the cable for the comms relay to get the message out to the Alliance. So we get this nice backpack piece with a cable that has, you know, the attachment piece that he had to click in. And so this is cool. It's got this string, like, you know, supposed to be the cable, and it's all in here wrapped up, and it's really long. So it's cool how long it is. And then it has a little piece there that can hold on to it. So that is cool. And so if you pull it all the way out, it's like, well, how do you get it twisted back in? Well, the backpack does come apart. So there you have that, and then have that cable there that you can use to then wind back up. But it is a really long cable. I'm surprised how long it actually is, but that I think is really cool overall, just the backpack overall in general. And with this, we do have the thing, so I have to get him adjusted here and try to get this backpack on him. So there's the backpack on him, and it's easier if you just bend the arms and then fold it back, and you can easily get him slipped into the arms there. So there he's got the backpack on him, and we can go ahead and just take the cable piece and run it around here into his hand. So there he's got the plug now ready to plug it in. And finally also comes with the DH-17 pistol, so it just looks like this normal like Empire style pistol that we've seen before. So let's put this into his hand. So there we got Bodhi with the gun, and so now he's ready to run out and risk his life to try and get the message out to the Rebel Alliance. So looks pretty cool overall, an awesome figure. I think he was kind of an important character throughout the movie, so I'm glad that they finally got around to making a figure of him, and I think it overall looks cool, and I like the function stuff and the accessories they include and everything. So definitely probably one of the better figures out of this wave, especially since it was new. Well, there's our Star Wars Rogue One wave, where we got a lot of re-releases here, just with better face scan upgrades. So we got the Jyn Erso, Cassian Andor, Chirrut Imwe, Baze Malbus, and then that K2SO as well. And then, of course, the brand new figure of Bodhi Rook. That is really cool. So overall, these are pretty good figures. Again, they're not much needed, especially if you got the older ones. But if you want the upgraded, these are definitely recommends, especially the Cassian Andor. So if you have that old one, you definitely need to get this new one. But other than that, I guess the only figure that's most important in this is Bodhi Rook to complete more of your Rogue One team. So overall, pretty good figures in my opinion. I think the upgraded looks are pretty good and nice figures just overall. But let me know what you thought of them down in the comments, and if you enjoyed my review, let me know with a thumbs up. I want to thank y'all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.